With the new Suicide Squad on the way, let's reminisce on the cinematic disaster that was the first attempt at bringing Task Force X to the silver screen. The thing is, if you look at the summary, this could have worked. In fact, I'll go so far as to say it should have worked. Amanda Waller assembles a team of supervillains, including fan favorites Deadshot and Harley Quinn, as a bunch of caged crooks to have them take down a superhero threat. The criminals have some moments to save the day without ever losing the fact that they are criminals. However, they made hash out of it. The pacing is atrocious. Act 1, introducing all the characters, is way too long and yet still feels rushed. Aside from Diablo and the Colonel, none of the characters have any development, including Deadshot and Harley, our two protagonists. Joker takes up way too much screen time, despite being a distraction. And the problem solved by the squad is caused by Waller's attempt to create the squad in the first place. To be frank, a team member betrayal plot actually feels like it would be better for a second film in the franchise, after a more straightforward initial story. In fact, it has been done better. The animated film Assault on Arkham is widely considered to be the film that Suicide Squad should have been. So the short version is just, well, copy Assault on Arkham. However, and hear me out on this, the movie isn't completely bad. Look at individual scenes, and most of them are serviceable, and the plot does have a good premise. Margot Robbie is perfectly cast as Harley. Jay Hernandez gives an extremely poignant Diablo. Viola Davis portrays a coldly sadistic Amanda Waller. And while this version of Deadshot is very different from previous, Will Smith makes him a very compelling character. So, why didn't this work? I can see two main reasons. First, the story is completely lacking in focus. It jumps around almost too much for the audience to care about anyone. The constant back and forth, info dumping, and lack of a single protagonist causes the story to become a disjointed mess. Second, there's no reason at all for the team to care about each other, despite that being a core part of the finale. These are villains. There's no reason for them not to jump ship the moment that they can. Why would Deadshot care about Enchantress being a squad member? If he wants to be the hero taking care of his daughter, why is he still killing for hire after he makes millions in the opening scene? Why would Diablo sacrifice himself for people he barely met? None of these are explained in the story. They're all critical problems when you stop to think about them. So, what is the minimum necessary change to this movie? Number 1. Make Deadshot the protagonist and show the movie from his limited view. Number 2. Give him a reason to care about the deuterotagonist, Harley. Alright, here's my solution. We start with Deadshot's introductory kill for hire. It's a good scene, don't change it. Then, have him go see Zoe. Have her be older, early 20s-ish. She opens the door, sees her father, and slams it in his face. She wants nothing to do with her career criminal of a father. Have him plead to talk to her, say he's not enough to leave Gotham and get away, but she yells how he could have been a hero, but chose instead to be a murderer. Cut to his own apartment, and Floyd gets a call. Zoe was murdered by her boyfriend. In a rage, Floyd hunts down the boyfriend to murder his daughter's killer. However, there's someone waiting. Batman comes in and arrests Deadshot in a dynamic opening fight. Cut to Belle Reve, and keep the firing range scene. We meet Waller and Flag here. The scenes progress from Deadshot's perspective until the Midway airport. Have the Gotham characters notice and respect each other professionally. Hey Grok, did the bat get you too? Miss Harley Quinn, how's Joker doing? The next few scenes can play out more or less the same. Slipknot's death is a shock to the characters and to us, since he's had no less screen time than the other characters. However, have Floyd become more protective of Harley over the course of the mission, treating her like a substitute daughter and seeing this as a chance to redeem himself. We see a bit of how Floyd wants to be the hero in the fights and the bar scene, but this needs to be expanded as his primary motivation. Then you can interlace flashbacks like the Mad Love story as they're trekking through the town, like they're just chatting to pass the time. We can actually keep much of the section of the movie the same, but keep the camera on the squad. This means that the reveal that the Enchantress was supposed to be a squad mate comes as a surprise to the audience. Deadshot is crushed because this was supposed to be his chance at redemption, but he's once again being used as a hired thug. Then, when Rick Flag apologizes and asks for help, Deadshot agrees as a genuine attempt to be a hero. Diablo, on the other hand, goes to seek his own death, and the others follow because, well, they'd rather die on their feet. Then, when Enchantress shows them their greatest desires, it's not, I killed the bat, but a happy life with Zoe. The illusion is something he could genuinely never have. Instead of fake temporary happiness, she's offering him the forgiveness he desperately needs. Then, when Diablo shouts out, I can't change what I did, it resonates with Deadshot as well. With a better motivation, focused on redemption instead of revenge, it completes Deadshot's character growth. Diablo's sacrifice as a Deathseeker also makes more sense, since it fits the new theme of redemption, and everything ties up far more neatly in this version of the story. The thing that gets to me about this change is how, unlike my other ideas, this could have been implemented relatively easily, even in post-production. Bring Smith in for pickups and trim all the fat, maybe add some narration, and this is a feasible cut of the film. It'll be shorter, tighter, and have a better narrative arc. This movie had potential, and it had the money, time, and star power to work. However, the writers and directors simply didn't have what it takes to make a superhero movie of this caliber. So, in conclusion, Suicide Squad is a greatest disappointment, not because it was an unfixable plot, but because it could have been fixed relatively easily. And yet the writer and directors simply didn't. Turning it to you, my dear viewers, what do you think? Is there something else you'd like to change about this movie? And also, what do you think about the new Suicide Squad? Thanks for listening, y'all.